Hey everybody, welcome back on this short little episode thing. This is going to be called something like Trent gives unsolicited advice to Air Force leadership. Spent a lot of time in the training realm, doing a lot of different things, so I think I know the history and how things work. And so today I just want to get on real quick and talk about the IFT. The IFT used to be called the PASS. The IFT is the initial fitness test, the test you have to get to pass to get into the Air Force, and you have to pass it when you first get to the candidate course, and then after that, you're going to be working towards a different test. And that's kind of where this all starts. And so to go back, the past looked a lot like the IFT. It was the same events. And in the old pipeline, you would do the same events to a greater degree as you went through the pipeline. For instance, in the beginning, you would start to get in with the old pass test at like 8 pull-ups. And when you graduated the pipeline, it was something like 13 pull-ups you had to do, right? Direct correlation. Same with your push-ups and your sit-ups. And then your swim went from like a 500-meter swim to a 1,500-meter fin. And your run went from a mile and a half to like a 3-mile run at the end of the pipeline. And you have to run it less than, 22 minutes or something silly like that. So it was very logical and an easy to follow progression from the past to the end of the pipeline on your tested events, right? And I'm not saying that the past or the IFT or any of the fitness tests that you take that you're tested on are the hardest events in the pipeline, because they're not. But on paper, these are the things that are the go, no go, the hard pass or fails that are going to allow you to move on to the next step. So what happened was the Air Force, spent a lot of money doing the Women in Service Review and a few other things, figuring out what the new PT test should look like. So you would graduate the pipeline, and then after that you would go on to team, and you would for us it would be the AFSPECWAR PT test, which was the same thing. It was the exact same events: the 3-mile run, the 1,500-meter fin, your push-ups, your pull-ups, your sit-ups, all that stuff. So it was all the same testing. Now, after we went through the Women in Service Review and all those other things, we have a new test. The new test is the OFT, so it's the Operational or Operator Fitness Test, and there's not as many direct correlating events between the IFT and the OFT as there used to be between the IFT or the past and the AFSOC fitness test. So the way that my brain works and the way that I problem solve is I try to find the simplest solution that makes the most sense with the greatest level of correlating factors, greatest number of correlating factors in my brain. And this is kind of me starting a conversation with people. I could be way off on this, but this is me giving my advice. The push-ups and sit-ups in the IFT, I don't think that they're bad. However, if you get into SWIC and you pass the IFT and you pass your push-ups and your sit-ups, there are no push-ups and sit-ups in the CFT. And there are arguments for this, right? Like this, so the IFT is your baseline. And in the old way that we used to do things, the past was the same way. It was your baseline. The old baseline, we would build on those same events: your run, your swim, and your cals. The new one with the OFT, and you can watch our episode on the IFT, CFT, and the OFT. Go back in the Ones Ready library and find that. There are not as many directly correlating events. And so my question is, and my suggestion is, why are we still doing push-ups and sit-ups? And the reason I ask is, if someone fails the push-ups and sit-ups and they're not allowed into SWIC, like, and I get it. Part of my brain is, this is the standard, and you pass it or you don't, and you knew the standard, so you do it. But we're not going to test them on that for the rest of their career if they make it on team. We're never going to have you get down on the ground with front leaning rest, and I'm going to count out whether or not you can do 70 push-ups or not. And on top of that, the amount of time it takes the candidates before they join, and the candidates and the developers, and then once you get to SWIC, the amount of time we waste testing people on something that is not really a test for the career field anymore is a little ridiculous to me. My suggestion at the end of the day, pull-ups. Pull-ups are important. Direct correlation between pull-ups, the IFT and the OFT. Increase the pull-ups, and and then the run. I think we've shown good correlation between a good run time and success in the pipeline. So if I was king for a day, probably be 12 pull-ups to get in and a 3-mile run as opposed to the 1.5-mile run, because it's still easy to test people on a 3-mile run at about, I don't know, 23, 24 minutes. That way, we're actually testing folks on the things that once they make it on team, we're going to be testing them on anyway. So don't change any of the water stuff. That's fine. But that's just my suggestion, my unsolicited advice. Why baseline our folks in something that we're not going to continue doing? So there's probably a lot of arguments out there, and probably some friends of mine that are going to be upset when they see this. And I would love to have the conversation with anybody who's willing to have the conversation. Leave me some comments and tell me that I'm ridiculous. And if you say that this is the way that we've always done it, that's fine. But I don't really subscribe to that theory. And I think we could save a whole lot of time. We could clean it up. And I think we could actually have candidates spending more time working on the things that they're going to be tested on, as opposed to wasting our time with 2 events that don't mean anything to us per our own standard. So let me know what you think. Hit me up, and catch y'all next time. Later.